Okay, so you have the Philadelphia Eagles record prediction. So they just came off a loss in the Super Bowl. So hopefully there's no Super Bowl hangover. But their team is just talented all the way through. Jalen Hurts signed a huge contract, which is good. They kept all their weapons like Brown, um, Smith, and Quez Watkins. The offensive line is pretty much the same, though there is like one weaker spot, but who cares? Run game, they got DeAndre Swift, who should stay healthy, and Richard Penny. Hopefully, at least one of them stays healthy. So Eagles offense is looking stacked. They were great last year, and they should continue being great this year. Um, the defense pretty much stacked. They got Jalen Carter. That defensive line is stacked. Um, Especially with Jordan Davis coming back healthy. Their linebackers, I think their linebacker in the secondary might be a weak spot. Outside of Reddick, their linebackers are kind of unproven. And their secondary, their safeties aren't household names, and if Bradbury and Slay, who are both getting old, if they both decline, I can definitely see the Eagles' secondary being a weak spot, especially against heavy pass offenses. So yeah, your first game against the Patriots. Patriots, their defense with Bill Belichick will always be good. They do have a good talent on their defense, but their offense will not be good enough to either keep up against the Eagles' offense or do well against the Eagles' defense. The Patriots' offensive line definitely needs work. I think Eagles' defensive line will feast on the Patriots' offense, and the Eagles' offense will get it done. So I have the Eagles winning, and then you have them versus the Vikings. It's a Thursday nighter again. Last year, Eagles completely demolished the Vikings, and this year I think it's going to be pretty much the same thing. The Vikings defense just not good enough to stop the Eagles. Um, Vikings offense will be good, but not good enough, so I'll take the Eagles here. Then you have the Buccaneers who lost Tom Brady. I think the Buccaneers will pretty much be rebuilding at this point. Buccaneers do have a talented team and have home field advantage, so possibility of an upset. But with Baker Mayfield, I don't trust Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. So the Eagles winning again. Then you have them versus the Commanders. Commanders similarly, they're rebuilding again with Sam Howell as their quarterback, and I just don't trust their quarterback. And you're not really a good team if you have a bad quarterback. And so I'm gonna take the Eagles. Then you have the LA Rams. Rams are another rebuilding team, so this 3 game stretch is actually pretty easy. Rams, they should be getting players back, but their team just not healthy enough. They let a lot of players go, like Jalen Ramsey, so their team should be worse than, or should be about the same, or even slightly better than last year. But Rams still have home field advantage, but Eagles just too talented. And then they run into their first actual difficult game against the Jets. Jets defense was very good last year and should continue to be good. Brown and Smith might struggle versus Sauce and the other really good corner that they have that I totally forgot his name too. Jets also have a really good defensive line, which as long as Quinton Williams stay healthy. So I think their defense can slow down the Eagles' rushing attack and Jalen Hurts' passing game. So I think this one will be a defensive game, but who do I trust more on offense? Jets offense, I think offensive line is too much of a problem, especially Eagles defense being the strength of their defensive line being the strength. So I'd have the Eagles barely winning this, but still an Eagles win. And then you have the Dolphins versus then you have the Dolphins. Um, I think the Eagles just match up well against the Dolphins. Actually, Dolphins Vic Fangio was there, and not sure how well he works against running quarterbacks. Dolphins do have a very explosive offense. I think will do well against the Eagles secondary, but Eagles do have home field advantage. This being a Sunday night, I have the Eagles winning. And then you have the Commanders. Like I said earlier, the Commanders just aren't very good right now. But still, Commanders have home field advantage, and they beat them last year when Eagles were undefeated. So I have the Commanders winning, pulling off the upset against the Eagles just because. And then you have the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Cowboys are never easy. I like how Eagles fans shit on the Cowboys, but Cowboys always give the Eagles a tough time. Cowboys are pretty much as talented of a team as the Eagles. Their defense, they have Diggs, they have Parsons, Lawrence. Their whole team. I think their defense is more balanced than the Eagles, but the Eagles have definitely a better high end talent and a better line. Offensively, Eagles and Cowboys both have great offensive lines. Both have They both have great receivers, but I think Eagles with Jalen Hurts' dual threat ability will put them over the top. So I have the Eagles winning. Then you have them versus the Chiefs, both coming off byes. Um, I think the Eagles' rushing attack will be too much for an average Chiefs defense. I think this is pretty much going to be a repeat of the last Super Bowl, where both offenses are firing. Jalen Hurts will have a great game. Mahomes will have a great game. Mahomes will have a great game against the Eagles defense just because of how good he is. And Travis Kelce will be getting open. But this time I see the Eagles winning. Then you have them versus the Bills. Bills, this part of the schedule is also very tough. They have the Cowboys and the Chiefs and the Bills and the Niners and the Cowboys again, and even the Seahawks are tough. So this part of the schedule is going to be tough. Um, Bills, Josh Allen, always a threat, especially with Josh Allen there. Bills defense was pretty good last year and should be just as good this year. So they could potentially be a problem. Offense could potentially be a problem. A close game, but I'm gonna take the Eagles because of the home field advantage. Then you have a game versus the 49ers, who the Eagles beat last year in the championship game. 49ers team is probably on par in terms of talent. Outside the quarterback position, Hurts is way better than whoever the Niners have at quarterback, but I think the Niners will want revenge, so I'm going to take the 49ers here and call the upset. Then you have them versus the Cowboys. Like I said, Cowboys super talented team, and I think they're going to split again this year like they did last year. They always split, so I'm going to take the Cowboys this time. Then you have them versus the Seahawks. Seahawks with Geno Smith did well last year. They did improve. They drafted a running back. They brought in a lot of. They drafted a corner. The defense should be better. Still, their defensive line and linebackers is just not that good, especially for the Eagles' rushing attack. But I think Geno Smith and the Seahawks offense will challenge the Eagles' offense, and I think the Eagles will have an off day here. Because Seattle's a huge home field advantage, so I'm gonna take the upset. I'm gonna have the Seahawks winning. Don't kill me. And then you have the Eagles versus the Giants. Giants. If you look at their teams on paper, the Eagles are like 10 times better than the Giants. They are divisional rivals, so could be close. But last year, the Eagles completely blew out the Giants, and the Giants they did improve. They brought in Darren Waller. Saquon is kind of a question mark, but their defense, Giants defense was good at times last year, but still, I'm gonna take the Eagles. Then you have the Cardinals, probably a rebuilding team, probably wants the number one pick. Eagles easy. Then you have the Giants at home for the bench. I think this one could be a challenge for Eagles, especially if the Giants want a playoff spot at this point. But Eagles, like I said, they blew out the Giants last year, and I think they'll do it again this year. So I have the Eagles winning. So in the end, after Eagles going 13-4, 4-2 in the division, 7-1 at home, and 6-3 away.